a particular situation he was facing. And these people really needed to express themselves. They had something to say, and we learned a lot from that. So a possible compromise to that would be if we make all the questions closed-ended, but perhaps those where some additional input is possible, you can have an other, please specify, category. What about that? Would that be a wise compromise?
One can, for example, put a question at the end. You know, are there other comments that you might feel comfortable?
Yes, but we would like to be able to combine the comment to the specific questions. That what interests us. So is it okay if we have other cause? So we have like cause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, other. Would that work for most intents and purposes?
I have
We
no
must
objection
have
to it,
another. It's, I mean, it's a basic principle of research to have another specified code. We cannot leave that out for sure.
Yes, and of course this
and
issue.
In terms of the technique and the simplicity, it will. This is why we are trying to do it electronically, so that it will be much more easier. Otherwise, if it was a Word document, it would take them ages to do it, and they would have to type it, and it would be much more difficult. And let me just say, add to that by saying that
to evaluate the cost-benefit analysis. You know, I mean, do we need additional information than we can put into closed questions? This is the question. I mean, what are we going to do with this questionnaire? The answers that we have. Can we do the same report out of this questionnaire without having open-ended questions? This is the question we need to answer at our level. I mean, for my point at the other end of the coin, I would prefer, notwithstanding the comment made by the chairman there, that of course some people would like to express themselves more openly than the closed question, but in our case, I think it would be better if it was closed, because then even at our level we'll have less work to do, you know, and do away with the complexities of comparing what one mean with a single word or not.
Yes, I understand why we all would like it to be a closed-ended questionnaire, because of course that means less work for every one of us, and we're all very busy, for sure. But I also think there's areas into this research we're doing that, you know, sometimes we do have a very good idea of what's happening with open data, so we can provide a list. At other times, we want to find out what's happening. So methodologically, and I'm asking here for the Cyprus partners to listen to this and concur if that's what they also have designed in their methodology. Methodologically, sometimes you want to leave the room to provide a free answer, and then you cross-reference the answers, and that's how you derive categories of possible causes of something. For example, what measures would you think would be most effective for a problem you're having? That's an example of a question that might be a little bit hard to make a closed-ended, because then you're probably going to miss up on something you have not thought about. I don't know, to be honest, how to reach a resolution on this topic. I think that it would be better to give the general direction as a group that we do as much as we can closed-ended, but if there's something that you feel strongly should not be, then please justify why, and let's keep that minimum list of questions, because we also have to minimize the contribution of the other partners, because translations could be hard. So.
Let me add something that, given the effort that has already been put for the development of the questionnaire, I think that the 4 questionnaires and the following database with the answers will be the ground of the project results, which means that since we focus on the regional aspects of open data, I believe that it is very crucial to have a robust information and a robust set of answers. So in order to obtain these answers, this set of answers, I believe that it will drive the rest of the project, will offer input to the whole project. So in order to proceed in an effective way, if you like, it is very much crucial at the partners level to commit and devote some effort for giving answers to this questionnaire and delegating to at least one employee and putting effort, time, and some working hours, or even, I would say, even one working month in order to collect robust answers. Otherwise, we could have a very much easier questionnaire. The answers obtained in this case would not be so much valuable. So given that the development of the questionnaire itself and the answers expected is a milestone in this project, there is need to put much effort on this. And I think that this is why we devote today almost all of the day to discuss about the development of the questionnaire. This is the first point. And the second point is how to collect answered questionnaires. This is the second point, because we may construct an ideal questionnaire, but if we do not commit and put effort on the collection of answers, then it is of zero value. Okay? So in this case, in practical terms, I think that the least that each partner can do is to delegate to one or two employees, I don't know the number and the availability of working hours, and take by the hand the stakeholder to fill this answer. Otherwise, if I send this questionnaire even to a very good friend and colleague, if I just ask from him, hey, could you please, then I expect that the answers that I will receive will be of relatively reduced value, but we want to extract the maximum value from this questionnaire. So it's a matter of commitment and effort. Okay? Given the crucial aspects of this. And once again, we cannot import much of knowledge from other projects, since the focus here is on the regional level. Okay, so the basic idea is what's going on in the region of in the Mediterranean region regarding open data. So this is an excellent tool to identify what's going on and to proceed accordingly.
So I guess what Konstantinos is saying is that we're not really needing one thing from you, which would be the translations. We're needing two things from you, and the second thing would be a little bit of using your networking and your contacts in authorities, regional or otherwise, that would be good candidates for this kind of feedback, to talk to them and have them, commit to complete the questionnaire. We're gonna have the same approach in Greece, so because people that are working in the decentralized region of Crete obviously collaborate with people from other agencies that produce or use data, and this could also advance this way through the networking. I would like to ask you, what are your specific requirements from the partners, because it's good to make those arrangements now rather than try to make them after the workshop, in terms of translations and everything else you mentioned. So let's settle this now, please.
With the translations, I think it has been said already.
Yeah, how many languages are we missing, for example? What countries? Slovenia?
Malta can be used in English, right? Yes, so there's no problem.
So
Only
Slovenia,
Slovenian and
Montenegro.
Serbia.
Montenegro.
And Montenegro?
It's not here, Montenegro. No.
So we're not missing more than 2 languages.
Yes.
No, we want a volunteer from each region.
So you're just going to do the English version?
And for the Greek, we can work together.
Yes, but I mean, you're going to produce just the English version?
Yes, we will agree on...
So they need translations for everything, not just the other one? Because
No,
I
I
think
think
Kostas thought that you're going to do English, French,
Yeah, probably what they're going to do is actually one-sided, that you're going to do the questionnaire version in French and Italian, right?
No,
we are
but
going to do
they're
the-
just going to do the English version.
The English version only.
So they don't
Didn't we
provide...
just say 10 minutes ago that you're going to do it in 4 languages?
We're going to
No, they meant
program
the rest of the partners.
We are going to program it. When the translations, the translated questions are approved by our French experts, for example, we will program them in the French language. But We cannot undertake the French translation, obviously. We are not in this
To
position.
do actually the questionnaires.
We need the help of the department to translate in their own language, French, Italian, Spanish, the approved final.
So for French, for example, we already have a volunteer here.
So you're right.
So we would work together.
You're right. We need then all languages. And you will be the volunteer.
I want to say, I think we are spending too much time in this question. To translate a questionnaire is not a problem, no? The problem we are from Andalusia, no? Is to find people who want to. I think nobody will make this online. We will need to go with them, maybe. We will spend a lot of time in that. We are very interested in the results, and we want this work to be done. But we will need a lot of work to obtain the results, not to translate. Translate don't
So
will be a
the
problem.
translation is not.
Yes, but I don't know how we will do the work because Andalusia is very high. We work in the agricultural sector. We ask us to work also in formal sector, and this is another administration, no? This we can do that, but we need time and we need budget to do that, no? But I think it's necessary to do.
Excuse me, just one question. Do we really need the questionnaire in all the languages? Maybe it's not enough in English version and it's all. It depends maybe also on the type of stakeholders to whom we are going to forward our questionnaire. But maybe the simple compromise is to deliver only the English version without any translation, and that's all. But of course, one weakness is the type of stakeholder.
I think we're doing a little circle here because that was the initial idea, which people were insisting on the translations, and then we examined the translations. So yeah, I would much rather that we just had the English version, but is that acceptable from everyone? We're just maximizing our, as you said, and I believe so, I share the same opinion that a translation of 3 pages is a relatively simple matter, and for anyone that actually knows English. So I don't think that's a lot of work. I think through the translations we're just maximizing our chance to get answers. So we're taking out a little bit of the difficulty in the networking, which is going to be probably hard for some of us. But at least if we approach them in their own languages, maybe we're just maximizing our chances a little bit.
Well, what I would like to suggest is that along the line, and all the things we discussed right now, the translation becomes a detail in this sense. We have decided that by the 12th of October, we're going to send out, all of us, last minor comments, taking into consideration Theodoros Karounos' remarks. By the 19th of October, the questionnaire will be online, correct? Okay, and the online will be the English version. After the online version is posted on the website, each one of us, each partner, should have by then, not wait till it is online and then see who are the customers. Customers means users, stakeholders, etc., etc. So by then, all of us will have a long list or shorter list of all the customers. Now, depending on that list, if let's say DAC, Decentralized Administration of Crete, has 30 customers to approach. If, okay, the decentralized administration of Crete will decide if all of these 30 customers are suited well with the English version only, or maybe 10 of them are okay with the English version and the rest of the 20 need to be translation. So it will be of the responsibility of the decentralized administration of Crete to make the translation in Greek in order to cope with the thing. So let's put, the suggestion is to do it like that, otherwise we're gonna do a round in debate here saying who's gonna translate or not. So is it agreeable with this? Yes. Okay.
A small feedback from France.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, we made an online survey dedicated to the museum and libraries and about open data and open content. And we have an emailing of 163 persons, and we have 30 questionnaires back without phoning or nothing else. But I'm sure if we have done a little work on the telephone, we have probably more, but well, just a little feedback. Yes, no, it was not at national level. It was national, but dedicated to a PACA region. Not dedicated, but ciblé sur. Okay.
Okay, any question?
Just so we all reach consent. Come on.
Let's clear things up, please.
Just to finalize this thing, to make sure we all understand the same thing. So what happens is, once the questionnaires, the online questionnaires are uploaded, and then the partners have provided the contact details, the respondents go to the webpage, they fill in the questionnaire. If they don't do that, then it's the partner's responsibility to actually fetch them. So it's the partners that should actually go and get as many as possible of them in whatever way they can do it. Whether they're going to go with them through the questionnaire, whether they're going to ask them on the phone to fill in the questionnaire themselves, or whether, I don't know, threaten them. But anyway, they just basically somehow they're going to get the data into the questionnaire. If this doesn't happen, it's the partner's responsibility. Are we all agreeing on that?
Yes, anyway,
Yes,
it is each partner's responsibility to use his own resources to have the questionnaire completed. So, if everybody's agreed, Despina, do you want to add anything? Okay, so this is closed.
Just one,
anything else, any comments?
Just one remark. I mean, through all this discussion, I neglected to mention that we had a very good session with the partners from France and from Spain. There were also some other remarks which we didn't have time to go through, but they were question-specific remarks, and most of them serve the purpose of making the questionnaire more clear, adding clarity to the questionnaire, and also making it more concise and simple, because we found, for example, that the questions 6, 16, and 19 have obvious similarities and make them easy to combine into one, a larger question, and other things of that nature. I think it was quite enlightening, and it serves the general purpose that we agreed, the general direction of simplicity. So there's no point into going into detail on each remark, but just want to mention that there was some good work done for the common purpose. So just that.
Okay, thank you, Kostas and Prodromos and each one of you for participating in finalizing the 3.3. Yannis, do you want to say anything? And I think if you have some comments, to say it openly here, so each one will...
Yes, what I want to stress is that Deloitte must ensure that we'll take some answers. The number of answers from each partner must be set now, and the methodology to reach this at least number of questionnaire filled in order to proceed by the Deloitte company.
Yes, we have said that by the time that this questionnaire will be online, each partner should have not only a number, just throw up a number of how many questionnaires we'll have, but how many customers. Customers, I define the word as either users or stakeholders. For example, now I can say easily, as the centralized administration of Crete right now, that I'll bring at least 10. I can say it easily. If I go back later home or in the office, I can find another 20. I mean, this is not the point. But the minimum number we can set, we can throw a number as a minimum, let's say 5. This is rather arbitrary, but it's more important for me, for us, and I think, to have the list, specific list, such and such and such. This is our network. This is the most probable, let's say, customers that we will be sure that we will have some results. Okay, let's say 5.
I think, yes, one thing is the number, and because of statistical purposes, you need to have a representative sample or close to, and you will be guiding us as to what's the list number of stakeholders. But also, I want to come back to what Mr. Karounos said before about the representativeness of the sample. So I would expect a few guidelines as to what kind of entities we're looking to complete the questionnaire. If we would like, for instance, 30% small businesses and 40% data producers and 30 data users, something of that nature, I would expect some guidance on that. And we don't have to do it now because it's a requirement that you might need to...
Just to say that to be able to define the target sample size for each region, we need to have information about the universe. And at the moment, we are not in this position to have this information. So perhaps we can discuss it with each partner because the sample size for Limassol Cyprus would be obviously much smaller than in Italy or France or even Greece, because it also depends on the sector we are covering, right? So we have the 5 sectors covered by Homer project, but it doesn't mean that each region will deal with all of the 5 sectors. So we cannot say now, to give you a rough idea that we want 5, 10, or 20, or 50. But we have to speak with you and exchange and give us information about the universe so as to be able to determine with you what is the sample frame, the target sample size.
Can I add something for that? I mean, from the partners questionnaire, don't you have a roughly idea about the areas that each partner covers so far? Because everybody has completed the partner questionnaire.
Yes, but we haven't had the time, I'm afraid, to go in so much detail because it was only one day before the meeting.
If you go through that data, would you have the idea then? Because I'm just afraid that if you don't set a minimum, then
we will, but I don't want to say a number now and don't be precise because we have to know the universe to do this properly.
Okay, so you're going to come back
sorry,
to us with a
what's your
number?
opinion about this? About what we just said about the minimum number or percentage, let's say, of stakeholders or users? Could you please give us an idea on your experience?
What I propose, but I think it's most appropriate for you to say this, something in the area of 600 questionnaires in total would be statistically significant to draw some conclusions for the whole area. For the whole study, yes. Something in that area.
Not for each region.
No, not for each region. Yes, but in total. Of course, for the issues, for the general issues that we want to target, right, as a project.
Okay.
Of course, this may translate to some number of questionnaires, if let's say 100 questionnaires from each, how many regions we want to?
30 regions.
13.
13. So It's about 50 questionnaires per region. So we understand that statistically, from 50 questionnaires, we cannot draw conclusions, valid statistical conclusions for a
each region.
But
Right.
for the whole project, we can claim, and no one will challenge us if the methodology is clear and set out before us, that we have statistically significant results. I think we should stick in that
Yes,
area.
but we would expect, for example, a larger sample size from users rather than stakeholders and
course, yes.
rather than owners.
But sorry, if I may, I think for stakeholders, but again, we have to make an educated guess. We should target for a lower number because I don't think we should find so many stakeholders, right?
Right.
But users,
Potential users especially, could
we
be a
can
larger.
find 600, right? Okay, but we have you have to propose the numbers that you feel, let's say, as the organization responsible for the study, you feel comfortable, let's say, professionally, that these are good numbers to have in order to arrive at conclusions.
Are you able to get in touch with the office in in France, in Italy, and wherever, to say if there is an appreciable market and say what is the universe of this kind of questionnaire? Because otherwise there is no statistical meaning if we have a free company in Sardinia who claim to be interested in have some open data. Okay. Yes, because this is, I mean, if Deloitte or whatever, I mean, I don't know if I'm clear. Is it clear what I'm saying? Okay.
Okay. We are the same organization, is global, but I'm afraid we cannot do this because Deloitte, Italy, Deloitte in Spain, in France, whatever, they don't have a budget to help us. So it's a separate organization. And however, I think that each partner of you know the universe better than everyone else. I mean, who are your stakeholders, the owners, the potential users? I mean, each organization of you, it has better knowledge. So I'm afraid this is inevitable. Yes. Yes. Yes, I do understand because in Cyprus as well.
I'm sorry, but we can hear nothing.
They can't hear.